All right, welcome to our first week of feature matches here for our next Generation League here at AGL. All players who have made two or less top eights and not won a league. We'll be crowning a first ever league winner here. Very exciting. We got Nick L here with us tonight. How's it going?
It's going well. Happy to be here. Happy to be commentating.
Yeah, and we got Oscar T here, who is a longtime leaguer. Uh, and we got DeWitt, who's he's established himself here. He's been with us under a year, but he's definitely established himself in that time. What's he got going on in his hand here?
Well, aside from this marauding Mako, DeWitt has a Krenko mod boss, Gold Vein pickaxe, a dragon trainer, and then a bear trap to ambush any creatures that come in.
All right. So just as a reminder, we won't go over this every single match, but they are playing with a starting pool of one pack of each of the last six standard sets, going back to MKM through Ether Drift, I suppose. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So Oscar has played a face down creature. The name escapes me, but it's a Selesnya 4/4 that gets a counter for other creatures in play.
So that won't be flipping up for a little while,
I
and
believe it's
he might
five.
be. Yeah.
Crowd control warden. He just moused over it.
Mm-hmm.
So
He may
in
be
Yeah,
incentivized to block here,
yeah.
given that.
Look at all these equipments. I mean, the lava spur boots. I mean, I think in OTJ it wasn't good, but like in a vacuum, that card can be probably okay. But he did allow it to hit. He is just going to go for. He might go for trash the town here to draw some cards
Well, this Krenko is gonna probably start to take over the game unless
with
Oscar has
haste.
a. Yeah.
Oh, as long as he has a land, he's good to go.
Oh, he's got the mountain ready for it,
All right.
and he could just use the treasure if need be.
So left in hand here for Oscar, he has Sheriff of Safe Passage, which is that it's kind of like the crowd control warden. I believe it comes in with counters for other creatures that you control.
Mm-hmm.
He has the Sterling Supplier, which is a 5-drop bird. He has the Junk Blade Bruiser, which is a 5-drop raccoon from Bloomburrow, a mountain, a forest, and a freshly drawn Balustrade Worm. So that 5/5 haste rare from Duskmorn. So a bunch of 5-drops in hand. So he's
But
going
no
to
removal
be
for
a
this
little. He
Krenko.
might be a little bit outpaced here potentially.
Yeah, with no removal for this Krenko, it's gonna start scaling up pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's got a detention chariot, but that's not going to do the trick. Also, he doesn't have the planes for it. Yeah, I think going back a couple turns, I think trading for the Mako was probably like I think that's what I would have done.
Mm-hmm.
Just because with the boots, it like threatens more haste. It's like I just want to keep the board clear and maybe go through a turn where they don't have enough mana to just play something and equip. But if he's making treasures continually, he's going to have the mana to play something and then equip it. But Oscar says, I feel like attacking here.
I think DeWitt is considering using Krenko to make a chump blocker for that 4/4.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great, but it's better than trading off your Krenko or taking 9.
On this next turn, he's got a pretty good follow up. He can just drop a Dragon Trainer, and that should be able to lock down the board for at least a period of time.
Which one's that? Is that
Uh,
the 5 mana 1/1 make a 4/4?
yeah, that is the 5 mana 1/1 comes with a 4/4.
Yeah, that
Um,
seems good.
It's not going to stop the Balustrade Worm, but it will at least buy him some time.
Yeah, the trample here on the balustrade room is pretty big, and obviously the haste as well. So that's sort of like Oscar's trump card here potentially to what DeWitt is doing is just having this big trampler because DeWitt can make these goblins every turn and stand in front of something, but not the trampler.
They'll get there eventually, though.
Okay, Otter Ball Antics. Yeah, another card that like seems good. Like it seems like just like a good magic card. Just in Bloomburrow was part of like a pretty bad archetype, so the card never really got to shine. But yeah, I think one of the things in this league would be interesting to see if like cards that just didn't make it in their own set or didn't get to shine because of perhaps their color not being very powerful in their set. Maybe we get new life for some of these cards.
I mean, there's a lot of Bloomborough cards that just random sagas that didn't see the light in various draft formats that I think are gonna be moderately playable in this format.
Yeah, I mean, already this game I've seen Lava Spur Boots on the Otterball Antics, which, not great cards, but in their set, but looking okay here. Now he does get to go after the Krenko and no longer has protection, so he'll have escaped with the Krenko doing about as little damage as it can, but I believe he could just be dead here, right? Potentially.
There's nothing in hand that can currently push through the damage, but
Okay.
it's close.
Yeah, the face down creature having ward is pretty nice.
Looking at this, it's probably going to be this Clamorous Ironclad. And
Yeah, I mean it blocks.
I it feels like a pass, but
I think he's gonna
interestingly,
maybe give it.
screw.
Oh, he just
Yeah,
gives it haste and gets
give
to
it
attack for
haste and
7.
kill. Never mind.
What are we doing over here?
I forgot Lava Spur Boots gives haste.
And +1/+0. Yeah, there you go. He found the line. It was not passing.
This is a good example of DeWitt knowing his deck better than I know his
Oh
deck.
yeah, no, he's shown himself to be a pretty strong player in his since his arrival here. So yeah, so we got a white green deck here for uh, Oskar. He's splashing a torch, the Witness, which is a uncommon burn spell from MKM, and he's splashing Annie Flash and Roxanne. So two powerful legends from OTJ, and the rest of his deck is green and white.
On DeWitt's side, it looks like just purely blue red. There's a Granite Witness, but that'll always
Yeah.
be disguised and cast for blue.
Yeah, looking at rares here, I've noticed on top of the ones I mentioned, Starfall Invocation. So that one's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Looks like it's a very tempo focused deck from DeWitt. There's a Breaches in the rare slot. There is a Vinixwick verbose host,
Okay, yeah, he's all right.
which can give you some card advantage if you need it. Lots of flyers, some card draw. It's your classic tempo deck.
Yeah, and I mean, it looked good there. He got enough damage, and then he played that again. The Clamorous Ironclad, unless you're doing the push the limit thing, it wasn't really a card you were going to be playing much in Ether Drift. But I mean, the card's not bad.
Yeah,
Like I just read the card, and like it's not a card I often want to put in my deck, but I refuse to believe it's bad. Like 6/3, crew 3 menace, and it cycles for 1. Like that can't be
I
bad. It just in the era of play boosters where everything is strong, it can often be like worse than 23 other cards you want to play.
I mean, give it haste, and you basically got a ball lightning.
More or less, yeah. Well, it doesn't have to sack at end of turn. At least there's that.
Yeah.
But in that case, there was no end of turn.
That was one of the things that was the one of the things that DFT never really like ran into is that it had very little ways to give haste to your vehicles.
Was there something even that did that? I can't.
Just push the limit.
Okay, yeah. So, but here he found a way. Okay, pretty okay hand here for Oskar. What's going on for DeWitt?
We've got a Shore Up, a Audible Antics, a Byway Barterer, which is the
Okay,
one that discards and draws a new set of new set of three. Another Cranko, he's back, and Peerless Rope Master, and then Lava Spur Boots. I
okay.
think he's deciding whether or not he wants to resolve the Lava Spur or Otterball.
Yeah, so we got a mountain and a forest here for Oskar. He's got a Felidar Savior. That's the 4-drop from Foundations. He's got a Crowd Control Warden again, and he's got Annie Flash the Veteran.
Oh,
So that
it's
one, I believe, when it enters, it brings back a 3-drop from onto the
mm-hmm.
battlefield.
Looks like DeWitt has lost connection
Uh-oh. All right.
temporarily.
Well, we'll wait it out here. If it goes on for too long, we'll probably pause the video and come back for a second part. But
Nope, we're back.
okay, perfect. Well, good.
All right, there's that Otterball antics.
Yeah, I mean the Otterball antics. It didn't look great in the last game, but it didn't like look bad either. It's just like paying four to flash it back is like it's asking a lot. I think.
Yeah, I I can definitely I can definitely see that point, but Otterball Antics will at least give him the ability to make two creatures, which looks like something that his deck really wants to do.
Yeah, it makes sense, and the prowess will come up.
Hmm. So in his hand right now, he's still got that shore up, which will be more relevant when he resolves Krenko. Um,
Yeah, he gets to do it. He gets to have a really nice play this turn with the Felidar Savior.
mhm.
So the Byway Barter, I believe it's whenever you expend, you can discard your hand and draw two, three.
I think it's draw three. I
Okay,
think it's discard your hand and draw three when you expend
okay.
four.
A pretty great late game card. Early game, I mean, it's a 3/3 for three menace. It's fine.
Been okay before the Felidar Savior result.
Yeah, Felidar Savior, just like when you go two into three into this, and you're on the play, it just feels so strong. Like this was just, if you were playing in Foundations and you did this, it was just a good path to victory.
So he's got the fourth land for this Krenko. Um,
Yeah, we
we're still going to run into the issue of he's facing down a lot of damage from this.
Yeah, and he's gonna make his Boxer indestructible again and get a counter on the Felidar Savior. So I don't know if DeWitt can afford to take seven, but he's taking it.
He just drew a dispersion unit, which doesn't seem like it's going to do very much in this
Which one's
position.
that?
That is the DFT uncommon, the 2/1 sacks for one blue, just
Oh, the
counter.
diversion. Yeah,
Yes,
diversion.
attacks.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the Rope Master here again, another card from OTJ you didn't see very much, but I mean, return a tap creature to your hand. It's only a couple steps down from a Spike Shell Harrier, right? It's a
Spike
couple of
Shell.
very big steps down, but it's
Yeah. Spike Shell was a little bit more relevant in its deck, but
yeah,
this one
and
will.
being an artifact and being able to take a speed and.
I'd be tempted to double block in this position. Does Oskar have something in his hand?
No, he has the anti flash. He has the boxer that we know about, and the draw was a holy cow. So I believe anti flash can come in if he wants it to, but he's gonna save it because I don't believe he has a three. Does he have a three drop in his graveyard? No. There's the three drop was the face down creature. That's a
Which
five drop,
it's actually a 5 drop.
so it doesn't come back with any flash.
All right. Well, if no, doesn't have a response to this Krenko, that's gonna give him infinite chump blockers.
Yeah, that could run away with the game. He does have the holy cow here, which can get a counter when it attacks. So if there's no answer to that, then the holy cow might be able to get in a few points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it's
And the
gonna at
holy cow
least be
has
able to attack once.
yeah, and the holy cow has flash, right?
Yeah, so he's gonna be able to flash in the holy cow, get in for three, and then after that, DeWitt will probably have to block or remove the holy cow if he can. Yeah, I mean this is a fine use of shore up. I mean, win combat. I like to use it
Yeah.
to protect against removal, but when you're trying to get in for damage here.
When you're
So
at 6, you don't really have the opportunity to.
oh, there's a balustrade worm on top.
That will finish him off, won't it? Close.
He's gonna go to three from the cow, and then he's
Okay,
gonna have to.
and we'll have to throw everything in front of the
It's gonna be
balustrade worm.
the not often seen quad chump block or something of that nature. Triple
Well,
chump
three
block.
of them.
Yeah, let's go to one. Oh, that's a draw.
That'll likely close out the game
Yeah,
in
the
odd.
the the triple chump is not a frequently seen maneuver here, but got to do what you got to do.
DeWitt has drawn a pedal to the metal, but I do not think that's going to give him enough to through
No,
26 health.
no, he can tack 5 damage onto something, but that's about it. So he can create enough toughness to at the very least stay alive here.
I may be wrong, but doesn't pedal to metal gives first strike, does it not?
Oh yeah, he'll be able to kill one of the creatures. Yeah, that is true as well.
Nope.
So imagine I'll have to chump block the holy cow and then kill the balustrade worm.
Does he have delirium to bring it back?
I think he just has creatures in there by my account.
It appears DeWitt has encountered another connection issue, so we may
Okay.
have to hold on for a second.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not due to streaming. I know for some people, streaming will slow them down a bit and make it lag. If that is the case, we can survive without a stream from him. Obviously, it's better if we have one, but
Mhm.
we don't want the connection issue. If it's due to streaming, we don't want it to inhibit his ability to play. But yeah, I think we were chatting before about the format. Like you said, it's chaos, and then I was sort of saying, well, with cards this powerful, it's not as chaosy as what I would consider like classic chaos kind of deck, but or chaos format. But we're seeing powerful cards really. Like very few cards we've seen are not powerful so far.
It is very much so a chaos light format. You're not to the level of like older chaos formats where you're scrounging for playables on every pack. And a random 2/2 flyer is
Yeah,
decent.
for sure. But harder to play around things unless you have your opponent's pool open, right?
Hmm.
If you're playing like Ether Drift League, you can at least play. Like if you play enough Ether Drift Limited, you know which cards from Ether Drift your opponent could have and to play around. But here, when you have 6 sets worth of stuff, unless you know what's in their pool, it's going to be tough. Okay, he is putting the counter here on the worm this time.
Okay, that should be so that'll force the trade with the this diversion unit, and this with the pedal to the metal, it should be enough toughness to get in front of the balustrade worm and not die.
Well,
Uh,
the pedal to the metal does not uh, increase toughness, right?
with the prowess trigger from the otter,
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Two, three, four,
but
five,
it's
6. Yeah,
not going to be a great position, especially since Annie Flash can get back the holy cow.
yeah, and it's going to do that basically right away. Or, yeah, before Oscar's next turn, he'll be able to do that.
Yep. So here we will have the pedal to the metal. So he can live
Yeah,
because diversion unit will survive with first strike.
yeah. So he first strikes that, and then he loses everything, trades with the worm,
Okay.
and I,
Stabilized.
I would think that DeWitt is extremely suspicious that he did not just bring back his holy cow with the with the room there,
Hmm.
because I believe it's you bring back anything 3 mana or less. So this may be the time where I might be going through my opponent's pool and thinking, what in the world could they have that would warrant them not to do that? And he's about to find out that it is this very very scary lady here.
Luckily, DeWitt does have a bear trap in hand, which can deal with the holy cow for a turn.
Okay, I mean Annie Flash is still going to be attacking, but I guess the Krenko token can take care of that.
So we'll see shortly this bear trap resolve and probably kill a holy cow.
So what does it do when it becomes tapped? You get to exile the top 2 and play both of them.
Yep.
This card is wild.
This
It's been a
that
while. I mean, I don't think I played it very much or came across it that much. I remember the ETB was just basically like a Sun Titan.
Yeah, the ETB on Anti-Flash alone is already brutal.
It's just a Flash Sun Titan, and then when it attacks or cruises vehicles, you draw cards. Cool. And a Roxanne on top. Well, yeah,
I mean,
that'll just do the damage on its own here to end the game.
yep, DeWitt has a runaway together, but it's not going to be enough in this
Yeah,
situation.
that's a little too cute here. Yeah, he says he's not making it through the next turn. All right, so pretty strong showing from Oscar's deck here in game two, showing off some of well, one of his more powerful cards here with the anti flash, also the worm. So he's looking at potentially a scorching dragonfire and a galvanize, even though red is his splash color, but maybe just a little bit more cheap interaction. Bringing in some extra red sources, taking out something hard to cast like a Tarian. This all seems reasonable. Like he's taking out his triple green card, putting in a couple more mountains. Yeah, so he says, I want a couple more cheap removal spells, and red is where those are. He just, in his green and white, he does not have too much interaction. Very little, in fact, in green and white as far as removal. So he says, I'm going to bring in a couple of deal threes. Galvanize, I don't remember what the extra text on it was, but I know it was 3 damage to a creature.
Didn't have Metalcraft or something along those lines. I might be wrong.
It
Thinking
was
of a
from
different card.
MKM. Is I don't remember what the extra text was. Scorching Dragonfire is 3 damage and it gets exiled.
DeWitt has chosen not to sideboard anything and sent it right back.
Yeah, well, when you're in week one and you're playing a 2 color deck, you probably don't have too much of a sideboard. That's usually how it works. So Galvanize is Galvanize says, I believe if you've drawn 2 cards, it deals 5 damage instead
Okay.
to the creature. I think that's what it was.
DeWitt is looking at a pretty solid hand. He's got a Vinnickswick to start out, a Cunning Coyote, a Demand Answers to redraw, and a Glimmerburst to draw more cards.
All right. I hear drawing cards. I think that's nothing to complain about. Oscar's got a not an amazing hand, but it'll be functional here on the mulligan. He's got the galvanized that I was speaking of. He's got his crowd control warden. This card loves to show up in his hands, and he's got a bridal bighorn, which is the 4 mana sheep mount that makes 1/1s when it attacks.
Okay. Looks like he's going to lean on the Cunning Coyote to start off instead of resolving his Vinnickswick.
Yeah, that card can just be part of some crazy dumb curve outs when you plot it, but I guess he just said let's get the attacking started. So interesting enough, the draw from Oscar here is a Cathar Commando, so he can just play that and trade with the Coyote instead of having to galvanize it, which I'm sure he'd rather save it for something a bit more scary.
Yeah, I have to wonder if plotting the Coyote would have been better in that position, just so that we get in for 3 damage the next turn as opposed to.
Well,
Uh,
it has to target something else, right?
yes, that's true.
So he
So
can target the Vinwicks though. He could have, and then it would have allowed him to increase his speed. Right, here comes Glimmerburst, also known as my boy. Yeah,
well,
just a little dude that draws cards when it comes in.
DeWitt is looking at a hand of 3 lands that demand answers and the bear trap that is just resolved.
Bear Trap
Um,
doesn't do too much here though.
no, it does not deal with very much of what we're looking at here. One of those lands is definitely hitting the bin, and he is redrawn into 2 more lands.
So what does he have in hand? 2 lands and
4 lands, three
oh,
mountains and an island.
well, I'm sure they're very pretty to look at, but not very practical here. Yeah, so he's gonna be able to play the Sterling Supplier, put a counter on the Bighorn, saddle it, Make a 1/1. Now he has a 3/4 flying. This bear trap looks extremely sad. I mean, I guess he can at least activate the bear trap to kill the face down creature, but it's not really what he
Uh,
wants to do.
and off the top of the deck is a piggy bank. That's probably not going to be
Yeah, that's not
the
moving the
most
needle.
effective here.
Yeah, it's not really moving the needle on this board because it doesn't even block the. Oh, and he's drawn a celestial armor, which is going to make this very very difficult for DeWitt here. That's that flash equipment that gives flying.
That
It was a
likely will,
rare, I believe.
yeah, that likely will
Uh,
be enough to close this game out, especially
that
with Saddle on the Bighorn.
I think when like the turn it comes in, it's like a trick. It gives it
Mm-hmm.
hexproof and something or other, and then it's +2/+0 flying. Yeah, so that'll probably be enough to sew this one up here. Despite the mulligan, he was able to curve out just too many lands for DeWitt. That's how the game goes sometimes. Can't do anything about that. DeWitt
Yep,
had
and
a
with the draw being a shore up, there's going to be no flying blockers for
yeah.
this. Uh,
He had a completely functional hand at the beginning and like a decent start, and then just there were how many lands in a row on top of his deck, and that was that. Let's see if he goes for the armor here, just to ensure lethal. No, I think he's gonna save it as like a trick here.
It'll probably be played in response to the shore up, and
I mean, he could also just dragon fire the piggy bank.
true.
Yeah.
Scorching Dragonfire will even get rid of the treasure.
Yep. Not that I think the treasure is
No,
gonna
I
play a,
don't. I don't think
a role
I
here.
think we're very flush on mana
You
here.
know, when you need mana number 9 here, I guess
This will be an exit specialist off the top, which
that's the bounce one. It's the
yes,
face down that can bounce something.
that is the flip up and bounce.
Is that an I doubt that's enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah,
This will
there's
be
still going to be like 3 things getting through. Yeah, unfortunate flood there, but that's how the game goes sometimes. Congratulations to Oskar closing off his week at 4-1 here. So very very nice start to the week for him, and we'll be back in a little bit for our second match of the week.